It's Vancouver's podcast on the Canada's Podcast Network.
Good morning. This is Angela Barnard from Canada's Podcast. I'm super excited to have a driven entrepreneur with me today. So I'm going to introduce MIguel Diaz. MIguel is the CEO and founder of Driven Performance Fitness, a fitness transformation center with 250 members based out of Nanaimo, British Columbia. He helps them his members improve their health, fitness, and mindset. After losing 80 pounds himself, MIguel became a certified personal trainer and a certified fitness nutritionist, dedicated himself to helping others get in shape without depriving themselves. Not only is it a personal journey, but MIguel has also received Best Personal Trainer in the city of Nanaimo in 2017, 2018, 2019, and his business has received the award of Best Fitness Center in 2018 and 19, and the 2019 Small Business of the Year award from the Greater Nanaimo Chamber of Commerce. A little bit more, MIguel is all about helping people believe in themselves, believe and achieve better health and quality of life through fitness and nutrition. And I got to pull this from his quote: no matter where you are, there is always hope. There's always a way. Do not give up. Does that kind of sum you up, MIguel?
That's bang on, Angie. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So MIguel, let's just talk a little bit about you. How did you get here? What's your entrepreneurial story?
Yeah, you know what? I've always had the entrepreneurial bug in me since I was a kid. I think the first thing that I did, I grew up in Mexico. So the first thing that I did was I wanted a soccer ball, and I borrowed $20 from my grandpa. And I went to the grocery store and I bought as many cans of pop as I could. Wouldn't know pop wasn't that great, right? And I put it in a cooler. I bought a bag of ice and I filled it up, and I literally dragged it for blocks, knocking on every single door at like the hottest time of the day in Mexico, right? Asking people if they wanted to buy, one or two or three cans, and I'd sell them at a bit of a profit, collect the profit, run back to the store, and like keep doing it. It just kind of has always been in me, but in this particular industry, it really was something that it almost feels like I had no choice. You know, I went through such a transformation myself, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, pulling myself out of, being overweight and feeling, depressed and just not feeling on fire about life. And this change has been so radical. Of course, it's taken years, but it felt like I had no choice. Like I had to share this with people and with others struggling. So here we are 6 years later. In 5 days, it'll be our 6th anniversary, and we're growing more than ever and changing lives.
Awesome. Congratulations on this 6-year mark. That's pretty momentous.
Thank you.
And tell me about the work that you do. What is it? Tell me about the gym, the process. What happens? Who do you work with?
It's changed a lot over the years, right? When it started 6 years ago, it was all personal training, one-on-one personal training. Mm-hmm. And I had literally just quit my job after a little bit of a taste of what it was like to help people with health and fitness on the side. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, I just couldn't stop it. I was like, this is what I'm meant to do with my life. So I literally quit my job without any savings or anything, and no safety net. And I just went right into it. Over time, my role in the business has evolved a lot. Today, I do maybe 1 hour a week of actual training. The rest of the time is work either supporting my members or working on the business. So I have a fantastic team of driven, dedicated, compassionate people without whom this would be not possible at all. So now in the gym, the way it looks is the vast majority of it is group workouts, anywhere from, the class that just ended was only like 5 people, but it can get up there as well. We can fit 30 people here. Sometimes we have 2 trainers because the classes get big, but it is coaching people with the 3 main pillars of success when it comes to fitness and mindset and all that. So it's fitness, nutrition, and accountability. So it's not just knowing what to do, it's also making sure that you have somebody there to hold you accountable and to support you when, life is throwing you curveballs and you don't feel like doing what you said at the beginning. We help you connect at a deeper emotional level with your goals and really get clear on what's on the line. What are you working for? Is it just for you and to, rock a swimsuit in Mexico? Or is it because your children depend on you? And if you are suffering from, cardiovascular diseases at 40 or 50, that's going to impact them. So we really help them connect to that so that we can remind them when you don't quite feel like doing it, right? We all go through that.
Exactly. I just competed in Tough Mudder and got a little coaching from you on the side. Thank you. The morning before, but one of the inspirational quotes there was, when you feel like quitting, remember why you started.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Yeah. Now, the actual who do you serve? I mean, that's quite a broad, looking great in a swimsuit versus, maybe dealing with an actual disease. Is there a profile of person that you work with? Could you describe that?
What I can tell you is that about 80% of our members are mothers between, 25, 27 and 55. I think there's also men, and I think a common denominator there is a lot of them are parents, and that, kids are a beautiful thing. Once you have a child, your perspective in life changes, right? And you start paying attention to other things that before weren't as important. You want to ensure that you're there, that you can not just be around, but give them a good example and set them up for success in life, right? So, but we have a little bit of everything. We have members that are, in their early teens and they're just, taking exercise as something that is natural, normal, and not something that you do to fix something that has gone wrong. We also have members that are 70, 71 years old and going strong. So,
right. Miguel, I'm going to jump to a little bit of where you work. So really from Mexico to Nanaimo, what's the story there?
Yeah, it's crazy. I've actually lived so I grew up in Mexico. When I was about 21 years old, I lived in Peru for about a year. That was a fantastic experience. And then I came back. I finished university in Mexico for accounting and finance, which has nothing really to do with personal training, but it sure comes in handy now. And then, when I came to Canada first, I visited Montreal and I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. And I loved it. There, I met a wonderful woman and we got married and we had a baby. And her family was here. So we moved here in order to be near family. We fell in love with the island, but Vancouver Island is it literally has everything to offer without the craziness of 2-hour traffic and any of that, right?
Yes.
So it really hit that balance between a great place to raise a family and a place where you can work hard and hustle, and you can put 16-hour days if that's your jam and still be home in 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So so that was then, and life is very different now. I separated from my son's mom, and we're good friends now. And I remarried, and now I have another little one.
Wow, cool.
3, and life is just. Sometimes it's hard to believe how blessed we are.
Wow, fantastic. Okay, I've got to ask, how old are your kids? Both kids?
So my son is 12 and my daughter is almost 4.
4. Awesome. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank
you. Wow. So there was definitely a family connection here in Nanaimo, which is quite often how people get settled, especially once they've got a family. As a parent here, can you give us some inside scoop on kind of the favorite places to take your kids?
Yeah, I'm kind of a homebody.
Okay.
But where do I take my son? I take him to the gym, and we're kind of doing exercise on the weekends. But we really enjoy Westwood Lake. Just going around the lake and walking is it's such a beautiful place. It's so quiet. The water is just beautiful. You have the mountains. It's just amazing, right? Or you go down to the waterfront and you walk it's just so beautiful and calming. And there's, so many beautiful people walking their pets or with their families. I just love the vibe wherever you go.
Excellent. Well, and that leads me to a perfect segue. When you're on your own, how do you personally recharge, Miguel? Where do you go? How do you do it?
So my journey in fitness definitely started from being overweight. I definitely approached fitness as a way to fix something that I wasn't happy with. And I don't bash people that's how they feel. I guess I need to do something to fix however I'm feeling, because that's what got me started. Now, the gym is my therapy. It absolutely, I don't have to do it at 5 a.m. anymore, but I come here and I work out with my members. I'm right in the class with them, sweating next to them. And by 6 a.m., I'm so full of energy and ready to go at it. Now, if I thrive on alone time, maybe like many entrepreneurs, and I always make sure that I carve some alone time during the week. That usually for me is Thursdays, and maybe it's just me putting on a podcast and walking Westwood Lake, or sitting down with my journal and writing down, just doing like a brain dump, right? So yeah, it's a nice combination of alone time and then together time for all the energy in the room.
Well, and I'm just going to highlight that podcasts and journaling are your two it's kind of alone time therapies, right?
Yeah,
and ironically, mine too. So that's something we share in common.
Nice.
Can you give me an idea of what your day looks like? We talked about getting up early, doing some gym time, and you're energized. What else does your day look like?
Yeah, so my most productive hours of the day are before 9 a.m. So 5 a.m. I'll do my workout, and then from 6 a.m. to 9, that's when I really try to get my most important things done. Monday is usually a day that I devote to supporting my members. So I may be here either here or at home, but communicating with members, whether it's video call or in person, and it may be from 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. That's my Monday. Tuesday is more of a team day where we have our weekly team meeting and we spend a good hour and a half. Then we all get together, just my team and I, and we clean up the gym ourselves. Like, we wipe everything down. We just power through it with music or something. And then that's it. Like, I'm done for the day. I may have a meeting with my manager. Wednesdays and Thursdays are kind of the days that I set aside for me to work on the business. So that may just be me and my computer, and I may be looking at our goals, our accountabilities, making sure that everybody is well supported. That really is my job now, to support people, whether it's my members or my team. At the end of the day, that's what I can do for them, right? We're blessed in the sense that we just went to Maui, my wife and I, and we were there for only about a week, but the gym didn't skip a beat. We came back to more members than when we left. Everything was perfectly fine. So really my job now is just to support everybody and to add value wherever I can.
Well, and one thing I would like to add, because I know it's part of your business structure and story, but that almost all your employees are actually past clients.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? How much more enrolled could you possibly get, right?
You know what? We've been super, just again, blessed in the sense that our members are always asking, hey, when do you need, like, is there an opening? Like, could I? Like, just because maybe they've experienced a transformation, they see what it's done for them. And once you experience that, it's really difficult to not want to help other people get there, right? So it's amazing.
Now, and it sounds to me like, you're quite you've got quite a little framework and tight framework that you work within, but obviously when I think as an entrepreneur in business, it's impossible to not to keep tabs on what's happening in your industry and your sector. So if you could share, what do you think are insights that another entrepreneur in the sector, whether they're a fitness trainer, they own a gym or something like that, what are some of the trends that you're aware of that you'd like others to be aware of?
Yeah. So what I see happening is personal training has gone from being the majority of what, I mean, everybody was able to afford personal training, 5 years, 10 years ago. And things are changing a lot. And there's a lot of options for people, right? And we're busier than ever. So we want access to our coach as whenever we need it, right? Like on demand.
Right.
So when you add all of that up, what's going to happen is personal training and potentially even group personal training is going to end up getting commoditized. And some of the big gyms are already, implementing their classes. And of course, one thing is the classes. Smaller fitness businesses like ours that's not our business. Our business is the relationships that we create with our members. It's easy for somebody to show up and run a workout. That's the very tip of the iceberg. Mm-hmm. Where there's value is in knowing these people deeply and caring for them, and knowing that maybe Amy struggles with her knee and maybe Tana has a right shoulder that gives her trouble, right? And for us to remember, keep it in the back of our minds, even though we're in a class with, 15, 20 people, and be like, hey, watch that shoulder. We keep that in here. And so if you are in this industry, the easiest way to make sure that as things get commoditized, you're not, forgotten or erased from the map, is really to not make it about you, to make it about the client. The first piece of advice that I got when I told a friend of mine who was a personal trainer, and I communicated to him that I was going to become a personal trainer in Nanaimo. And again, this was like 7 years ago. He said, "What? That's crazy. Why would you do that? It is the most saturated profession in Nanaimo. Like, you'll never make it."
That and realtors, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, you know what? I feel like I have no choice. I have to do this. This is my calling. And then I should have known to go somewhere else for advice after that kind of advice. But I said, and this is quite specific, I said, you know what? I'm thinking of offering like a 6-week challenge, and I'm going to offer people their workouts, but also help with nutrition, because that's really where it's at. And the advice was, you should not include help with nutrition. You should charge them extra for that. And I remember, thinking and being like, that doesn't make any sense. It's in my best interest. Like, even if I was just worrying about me, it's in my best interest that they succeed. Otherwise, what does that say about me as a personal trainer? And so I'm glad I didn't listen to that advice. I went and over-delivered. Like, literally, it was texting my members and being like, hey, time to eat. Hey, don't forget to drink your water. Hey, like, sometimes showing up in their office at around noon and being like, hey, surprise visit. What's for lunch? And it was those things. So if I can give one piece of advice to every other person in the industry, is don't make it about you. We are not the star. If this was a story, I don't know, I'm kind of a nerd, so I love Star Wars. And you know what? Us trainers, we're not Luke. We are Yoda, right? Our client is Luke. They are the hero of the story. We're just there to guide them. And if you lead by that, and you get, and if we get our ego out of the way and we really just provide value and aim to make an impact, you change one person's lives, and that's going to impact their children.
Yes.
So we need to keep an eye on that, because that is really what's going to ensure that you don't go anywhere and that your business thrives. If I had listened to that advice 6 years ago, somebody else would have had to get those awards.
Very good. Well, and congratulations on your awards, by the way.
Thank you.
Few little insights, rapid fire questions. Are you reading a book, or could you recommend an essential reading for others?
I'm not a very fast reader, so I do
Okay.
audiobooks, and I normally get through 2 or 3 per month. One of my favorites is Relentless by Tim Grover.
Ooh.
Oh, it is amazing. He has been a coach to Michael Jordan, to Kobe Bryant, and he really has distilled what it takes to go from good to great to unstoppable. I think that's actually what's right below the title. It's an amazing book. I've read it twice.
And do you have any inspirational quotes on your computer or on your wall or your home that sticks?
Not really up here. We have a massive sign over there, like literally painted on the wall, like from floor to ceiling, that says, "Do not give up." But you know what? Here it is. I strongly and firmly, with conviction, believe that every single person is way stronger than we think we are. You know, and all that it takes is for somebody, even if it's not yourself, for somebody to believe that about you, and then hold that bar and be like, "I know you can make it. Show me." And it's amazing what happens when that expectation is there, and you know it's coming from a place of love. You rise. And when you realize, holy, I can do something that I never thought I could do, that translates to every other area of your life. And you start questioning, I never thought I could start my own business, but I also thought that I could never do that, and I just did. So I wonder, you know, it can permeate, it impact every other area of your life.
Absolutely. I love that. We share that in common too. MIguel, is there anything you'd like to add that we haven't talked about so far?
You know, I think at the end of the day, it's all about being self-aware of what makes you happy. You know, in the fitness industry, it's very easy to portray fitness as a way towards happiness. And it's amazing. It is great to live in a healthy body, but without a healthy mind, if you're always constantly surrounding yourself with negativity and you put in the effort to find the negative in things, that's not what is the point of living in a healthy, strong body if you're polluting yourself with that stuff, right? I honestly think we are so blessed to be alive and to live in this time and age that we should lead with a sense of responsibility to make a positive impact on everybody around us. You don't need to be a personal trainer. You can literally just not give room for negativity and aim to put a smile on people's faces. So
so put a smile on people's faces, but you just made me cry with some of that sentiment. I love it. I love it. And how can people get a hold of you post-podcast?
Yeah, many different ways. We actually have a podcast as well. So you can, it's just called The Driven Podcast, and you can find it anywhere, Spotify, iTunes, you name it. On social media, Driven Performance Fitness, and you'll find us in Instagram, Facebook, same handle. So
excellent. MIguel, it has been an absolute pleasure. I feel totally energized. I'm looking forward to the day and for our next power walk on the harborfront.
You got it. You got it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, MIguel.
You're very welcome.
Bye.
Take care.